Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is VlogsBoutNothin. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy night to join me. I really appreciate that. Tonight, we're talking about Social Security, and if you're watching from the last video, it is kind of a continuation on how, the second part of that speech revolved around the guy's TED Talk, link in the description below, as to his, beliefs with Social Security and so forth. Um, I have been in a world where I have debated quite literally for going on 20 years now Social Security and its future. Social Security is a program that was created by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and part of that great 100 days or 40 days of the expansionism of social programs here in America. The thing is that never, except since COVID, have we had the kind of social support that we had from our government at these two particular times. And it was obviously needed post Great Depression, World War II, and unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because it wasn't a program that was beneficial to everybody, in that honestly, a lot of people that got to enjoy those first benefits were predominantly, as our country has historically, not divvied from, rooted in institutional racism. So even when the start of the social programs began with FDR, you feel me, access to these programs was limited and few and far between to those who could afford having access to it. And it was not the best kind of situation, in that, here we are almost 100 years later, and the same kinds of meaningful social programs that actually helped. The whole point of these programs were to help, get people out of poverty, get them into middle class homes and neighborhoods and safe, and, food secure and all of these things. Is that, like, we haven't yet achieved those things. Things have gotten more expensive. And so, just by sheer logic and common sense, old social programs in this country were far more beneficial to those who received them initially than they are in present time at any current sort of imaginable, comparison possible. So, like, again, Social Security benefits are something that many, many low income seniors rely on. And without it, they would quite literally, all of the unfortunate economically strapped boomers and Gen Xers would like literally be like out on the streets, or like they would be, forced into jail because of criminal acts they would undoubtedly have to commit to try to secure any kind of life of survival, I guess, at that point. In terms of Social Security, is really, really important. My grandma, who just recently passed away on my birthday of last year, if she didn't have, you know, survivor benefits from my grandfather, who worked his entire life, nearly 7 decades of work, um, had FDR, had these things not happened back then, like, not only would my grandma not have ever been able to generate a dollar, in terms of, just because by the time my grandpa died, like before her, like 10 years or whatever, she was already like super old. And again, as much as 80-year-olds are running for president, most of the population isn't, like, built to work past the age of, yeah, I'd say like 60 or so. And that's because we force people to already work 45 years of their life, and hopefully the exchange of a peaceful 15 or whatever. And recently I read something about that, about how people are finally starting to wake up to the idea that it's really not about hard work versus, the unwillingness to work or whatever at all. It's more about how people aren't willing to trade decades of their life for a very small, very, very small portion of it at the end to enjoy. That's not unreasonable. Like, how do you think wealthy people feel? I mean, how weird is it that, like, there's a large group of people out there that literally think they're better than the other large group of people out there simply because of these circumstances. Like it's just, it blows my mind because, again, not a lot of people, more people than you'd like to imagine, but not a lot of people in the larger contextualization of those people actually maintaining or electing meaningful representatives that can, facilitate what that part of the constituency needs are the social programs. And again, social security is vital, and I would argue the only thing between poverty and being homeless that is for a lot of our elderly here in this country. And again, the examples can't be extreme because I understand that people in their 80s are running for president and are president and stuff like that. But again, not a lot of people, because of all of their labor that they've already put in, are even, healthy enough to maintain a work, kind of presence past a certain age. Nonetheless, and people don't talk about this a lot, but every time, a 75-year-old person or something gets a job or something as a greeter or wherever you want to call it, and this is no bag on the old people that have to get those jobs to make sure that they're surviving because their government doesn't want to take care of them. It takes away a job from a 19-year-old who could be doing the same thing, earning money so that they can learn how to get along in the world instead of trying to, Hail Mary a sort of societal decision based on indicators that we've known for decades now, in terms of, like, why don't we want our old people to not work? Why do we encourage them to work? Like, as middle-aged and young people, like, shouldn't we be telling them to, like, stop, like, to just chill and to go enjoy life and explore all of the things that, require little to no money, hopefully, because everything's very expensive and so forth. But regardless, it's a heck of a lot better than, competing for jobs when your cohort application group is 60 years your elder. You feel me? Again, like, yeah, a little ageist in that I want old people that, most old people I'd say don't want to work. I guess if you want to work, sure. You feel me in that way, but then also not, because competition is competition. And honestly, I'd rather hire a 19 or 20-year-old than a 70-year-old any day. And again, that's just because of more of the fact that I don't want old people to work. Like, that's like such a false thing to say that, we should have everybody work or whatever, because, like, until the day they die, because that provides some kind of meaning. That meaning is fleeting, and the real meaning in life is through developing meaningful relationships. A big part of that is developing meaningful intimate relationships, more than it is plutonic, but definitely half and half for sure. That's like the ultimate goal, right? Is to, like, be partnered up, have a healthy physical sexual relationship with somebody, and then also maintain plutonic relationships within your life that are healthy and meaningful as well. Just as healthy and meaningful as them sexual ones, only they don't require that intimacy, because those are the differences between the kinds of intimate relationships that human beings can have with one another. And so social programs are big. I wish, people weren't so big on slashing them. I wish people weren't so big on only making them available for certain groups of people, when in reality, social services require that, regardless of age or who you are or the income that you have, you get the kind of assistance that the government can provide because they can afford it. Again, we're not asking, like, the government for things they can't do, or we're not asking anyone to be magical, We just want Social Security to still be around, for it to be meaningful, for it to increase in a way that has lasting meaningfulness in an economy where inflation and the rising cost of goods, dictated by arbitrary corporate bottom lines, floods the world. I mean, like, seriously, like, we can't have that talk. So thank you very much for watching the channel. I really appreciate it. If you like anything at all of what you've heard or what you see on the channel, we have close to 400 videos, and always fun stuff coming up in the future. just as soon as, I'm able to get some kind of money, because, I am also unemployed. So that's why we're doing Vlogs About Nothing. But regardless, while my life is a joke, your life is definitely not. Or is it? Are all of our lives just jokes? No, they're absolutely not. And you're catching the darkest of the humor that I can provide for y'all. But I hope that you guys have a lovely evening. I hope that you're able to have the conversation about social programs and social programs, like their expansion and so forth, and the need for Social Security to still be around in 20 years, and to everybody, but more importantly, more money, right? And it's not unfair to ask for more from your government. Corporations ask for more from our consumers all the time. The government asks more from us all the time with little to no financial incentive, So, I mean, we're asked to do things for free all the time. So, yeah, like we should probably just have some real long talks and consider all of the real good benefits that some social programs that are currently in existence and that need to be made into existence into the future, so that there can be some kind of stability in a world that grows ever more so just unequal in its diverging of resources. And so it's unfortunate, but at best we can talk about it so that we can make real good decisions in the future based on informed consent, instead of that good old just consent that maybe sometimes isn't offered to us in the way that it should be, which is informed. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much again for your time. All right, bye.